talk, starting with our first presenter. Antica Culina is a senior researcher in ecology at the Boskovic Institute in Zagreb and an honorary fellow of the Netherlands Institute of Ecology, Wageningen in the Netherlands. Her work spans evolutionary ecology, life history trade-offs, evidence synthesis, and the development of data and code standards. She also serves as the steering board member of the European Open Science Cloud and co-founded a grassroots initiative uniting researchers studying breeding bird populations. Today, Antica will share her innovative replication-based approach to assessing research biases in ecology. Antica, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the introduction. I'll just start with sharing my screen and my presentation. Okay, I hope you all see my first slide. So, good afternoon, dear audience, dear jury, and the Einstein Foundation. My name is Antica Culina, and I'm thrilled to share my ideas about how to prove and study the impact of research biases in ecology. And I'm an ecologist, and I believe that everyone here agrees that we face many serious threats related to impacts of climate change, on biodiversity loss, and similar, and that affects our functionality of living planet, and thus human health and well-being. And here ecology is really crucial, and we as ecologists must rely on a rigorous scientific process to study this complex living world. However, during my PhD, I began to realize that we might have some serious problems in how we do research. And this happened during my first meta-analysis within the area of evolutionary ecology. For the first time, I carefully read numerous papers to extract necessary information. However, what I encountered is this. Often, for example, values reported in methods would not match the sample size reported in a figure. I also learned that not all research gets actually published. Fast forward to 2022, my team and I estimated that all of these inefficiencies in research cause really large waste of ecological research. And this research waste is something that refers to all the funded and conducted research that has limited or no value to the end user. And our estimates, interestingly, are really close to the only other available estimate, and that's from medicine. And these findings here were based on a set of published results, published studies. However, we have all of these more elusive issues, such as questionable research practices, and they're much harder to quantify. But surveys, such as these two of ecologists and Dutch scientists, are indicating that these practices happen quite commonly. And upon realizing the potential flaws, I shifted my focus to studying how open science could drive change, becoming one of the early ecologists to do this. And I have been working on different topics from pre-registration, open data, and open codes. And here I was really largely inspired by what has been happening in other fields, for example, with pre-registration in medicine and psychology. However, mine and others' work has showed that in ecology, pre-registration is almost non-existent. While we have a lot of open data, majority is of really low quality, so not reusable. And we don't have much open codes and open methods. And I feel this is largely because many ecologists are still skeptical. So the comments I often get is this: there is no evidence that these things actually happen, or even if they do, who says we don't get to correct results? And that solutions developed in other fields would not work in ecology, and the one that this is just not ecology, what I'm doing. And that's why I propose this project. I want to provide a strong evidence that we do have serious issues in the research process which do affect the end results. And the system that I will set up during this project will also be easy to use to test some potential solutions to the issues. So ultimately, I hope that we will have more robust and impactful ecological research. Compared to previous approaches that worked mostly retrospectively, that means based on already published results, they try to estimate the issues in the underlying process. What I want to do, I will be able to observe the components of the research from datasets, analysis, results, decisions on whether to submit these to a review, and decisions on whether to publish these results. And I will create this research process, but I will do it many, many times. And then I will use meta-analytical approach to statistically combine sets of these results and test whether questionable research practices, pre-publication or selective reporting, and publication bias lead to overall larger effects, lower accuracy, and higher heterogeneity between results. But for this, I need a great data set and people to do testing of some hypothesis. And I'm in a unique position to get exactly this, because I have led creation of SpyBird's network and database, and today we are really large and we span the globe and are internationally recognized. SpyBird's data are collected on breeding populations of birds in which individuals are uniquely marked with some rings, and they're captured over successive breeding seasons. And their breeding success is recorded, and also some other measures such as morphological ones. Importantly, in SpyBirds, we put a lot of effort to standardize these data from different populations. And these studies underpin what we know about ecological and evolutionary processes in the wild, including impacts of climate change. SpyBird's data are then starting point, but I will ask researchers from SpyBirds and Society for Open, Transparent and Reliable Ecology and Evolutionary Biology, which I have also co-founded, to use these data to test some hypotheses within the topics of trade-offs between survival and reproduction. This happens because organisms have limited energy, and these trade-offs are at the heart of life history theory and a fundamental question in ecology in evolution. And they're still interesting to study and still unresolved. Okay, so SpyBird's data sets are conceptual replications, meaning it's the same type of data, but collected in different populations. Here on the slide, I will just demonstrate my approach on 3 data sets, but in reality, I want to have around 50. So each researcher tests hypotheses using some analysis, marked here in different colors. And importantly, they log onto a cloud server where all of their code is recorded, even if they delete it. And they generate some results from 1 to 3 labeled here. And now I need to create a subset of these results that would get published in the real world. And for this, I employ 3 strategies. First, I asked each researcher if they would actually consider submitting their results to a journal. If they say yes, then I ask them to write a short narrative report, and this report then goes to a review, and voluntary reviewers, they decide whether to publish or not the result. In this case, just result 1. I will supplement this with also a publishability estimates that I ask researchers, so how publishable you deem your result. And finally, publication bias estimates in ecology from literature. And with this, I hope to get a very comprehensive set of possible publication bias scenarios. So what I get here in the end are 3 sets of results. In the first set, results suffer from questionable research practices to a different extent, and I know how much because I have the access to the codes. In the second set, they also suffer from selective reporting, and in the third set, also from publication bias. And then I use meta-analysis approach. And here, meta-analysis is not really my aim. It's more a good statistical way to combine all of these different sets of results. But results here come from different populations, and these populations likely have different trade-off parameters. So what I will do is following. Many of you have heard about once dataset many analyst approaches, where different people analyze the same data to answer the same question. And what I will do here is something similar, but this will be a first many datasets, many analyst project. Because I have the analysis used in a previous step, and then I take these analyses and apply each of them to one particular data set. So in this case, the green data set has its own value, and it's one value of the trade-off parameter. So all the differences in results from A to C will come from varying analytical choices and different levels of QRPs. And I do this for every single data set. And this provides me with a really large sample to test for the influence of analytical choice, but also of the level of QRPs on the obtained results. Okay, and why is this important and what impacts it will have? Well, I think it will provide convincing evidence that we do have a problem in ecology. Then we can get more recognition and more funding to develop and test solutions. And nicely, my setup can help us testing solutions. For example, I can ask researchers to pre-register study. Or, for example, we can try to eliminate gender bias in publication, which is present in literature. Then we can use this to inform how we should do research and how we should evaluate research and researchers. And within my team, we already have been doing workshops with with publishers and funders to try to promote some of the best practices. And with this project, I hope to provide an additional strong push. And I also hope this project can inspire other subfields of ecology, but also other fields of sciences that can try something similar. And I really think this is important, especially for ecology, because we do lag behind. And I think we really need to recognize that meta-science is really related to ecology and crucial to making research more trustworthy and robust. Because even scientists think that something is wrong with science, public thinks that, but ultimately, I really want to make this world a better place to live. And robust ecological research is one of the ways to do this. To further assure the success of this ambitious project, I will involve some additional expertise from my colleagues. And with that, I would like to thank you, and I'm open for any questions, not just after this talk, but also you can email me because I'm really curious to hear some feedback about this idea.
Antisa, thank you very much. Questions indeed we will have. In fact, two of